The Gospel according to Luke, the 19th chapter. Jesus encounters Zacchaeus, a rich man who is also a lost sinner. Moved by Jesus' acceptance of him, Zacchaeus becomes a model of discipleship. In immediate response to being restored to God's people, Zacchaeus ministers to the poor and seeks reconciliation with those whom he has wronged. The reading begins at verse 1. Jesus entered Jericho and was passing through it. A man was there named Zacchaeus. He was a chief tax collector and was rich. He was trying to see who Jesus was, but on account of the crowd he could not, because he was short in stature. So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore tree to see him, because he was going to pass that way. When Jesus came to the place, he looked up and said to him, "Zacchaeus, hurry and come down, for I must stay at your house today." So he hurried down and was happy to welcome him. All who saw it began to grumble and said, "He has gone to the guest of one who is a sinner." Zacchaeus stood there and said to the Lord, "Look, half of my possessions, Lord, I will give to the poor, and if I have defrauded anyone of anything, I will pay back 4 times as much." Then Jesus said to him, "Today salvation has come to this house, because he too is a son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek out and to save the lost." The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, O Christ.
So, have you ever had this happen to you?
Okay, here we are. Have a great day in school today, lady.
Why? Why do I have to go to school?
Hey, Ava, will you please take up your clothes and pick up your room before distance learning today?
Why?
Why is everybody asking why this morning?
Start with Why is the title of a popular book and TED Talk by Simon Sinek. His premise is that at the center of any successful organization, and in fact, any meaningful life, is a clear and understandable why. Why is the purpose, the mission, the reason for being. Every company knows what it does, but a surprisingly large number don't know why. For a company to thrive and grow, it has to understand its why before moving on to how and what. An example Sinek uses is the difference between Apple and Dell computer. This is Apple's why. Apple challenges the status quo by making products that are beautifully designed and user-friendly. This is Dell's why. Dell makes computers. Apple has a purpose that inspires people. Dell makes computers. Which one has more loyal customers? Do you like my Apple Watch? Why is about purpose. Why do you get out of bed in the morning? What is your purpose, your cause, your belief? What is your why? If you don't know why you go to work or why you got married or why you go to church, it's simply not going to be that meaningful. As part of this call process that Bethlehem has been at for quite a while now, there's been a lot of talk about the why of our congregation. For me, I come at this question for our congregation with 2 Bible verses. God is love. Therefore, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. Not bad, right? But the many people who have been interviewed as part of our transition process, and those who continue to share their thoughts on this process, have some great observations about grace and unconditional love and the meaning that they provide. So let me try this one on. At Bethlehem, we believe that we are children of God, loved beyond measure, and our purpose is to experience that love in worship, learning, and community, and share that love in service to the world. So what do you think is Bethlehem's why? What is the why that you experience when you come here to worship or when you engage with us online? Many know the story of Zacchaeus. The story stands out even if he didn't. You remember Zacchaeus was a wee little man with a big, bad reputation. Jesus was passing through Jericho, and a large crowd was following him. Because there were so many people, little Zacchaeus can't catch a glimpse of Jesus. No one will put him up on their shoulders because, well, everyone hated him. They hated him because Zacchaeus was a Jewish agent for the Roman IRS, a chief tax collector who, following the practice of the day, overcharged the Palestinians and then skimmed the excess for himself. Zacchaeus wants to see Jesus, so he runs ahead and climbs up a sycamore tree in order to get a better look. Why did Zacchaeus go up a tree and out on a limb? I think it's because Zacchaeus is looking for meaning and purpose. Because you can be the richest guy in town, but if everyone hates you, and if you're not that crazy about yourself, that's not much of a life. Zacchaeus is really good at what he's doing, but he's got no meaningful why. So he goes out on the limb to find Jesus. Jesus comes walking down the road and notices Zacchaeus up in the tree and opens his mouth to speak to him. The crowd is primed to hear Jesus blast out hostility towards this Jewish traitor, but instead Jesus says, "Zacchaeus, come, hurry down, for I must stay at your house today." The crowd expected holy hell, and instead what they heard from Jesus was, "Hey Zach, let's do lunch." And all of a sudden Zacchaeus is saying, "Half of my possessions I will give to the poor, and if I have defrauded anyone, I will pay back 4 times as much." To which Jesus says, "Today salvation has come to this house, for the Son of Man came to seek and to save the lost." Which, by the way, is Jesus' why. Jesus has come to save those and love those who are most unlovable, to seek and to save the lost. And so Jesus declares for all that this chief tax collector, this crook, is a child of God. The story of Zacchaeus has all kinds of implications for us. Now, for a moment, I want to talk just to Bethlehem members. If you're a visitor, you can check your text messages, or you can listen and learn something about the why and why we do what we do at Bethlehem. Today and throughout the week, we are asking Bethlehem members to make a statement of intent about how you will continue to not only lift up the ministry that we do together in this place, in your prayers and in your participation, but also in your financial planning and budgeting for the 2021 year. Even in the midst of the uncertainty of this pandemic and the volatility of this political season, we are asking this, and it's a big ask. So why? Well, I'll get to that, but first, I do these video messages on Tuesday. That's when I'm recording this. So today is election day, and I did vote, but I have no idea where all of the election issues will stand on Sunday, which is when you're watching this. I don't have a crystal ball, but I'm going to make a prediction. It's going to be chaotic. I hope it's not, but we are so divided as a people, I don't know how it can't be chaotic on some level. In our divisions, we devolve into an us versus them way of being. This is true of all systems, which include nations, states, schools, businesses, churches, and families. So why are we asking you to pray for, participate in, and fund the ministries of Bethlehem? For me, I really want Bethlehem to fulfill its purpose and to be faithful to God and to serve as a beacon of light to this community. Why? Because in a divided society, grace, mercy, unconditional love, and hope are in short supply, and this is what we offer. Why? Because many of us are broken by life circumstances and are in need of healing. Why? Because for many, God is portrayed either as a judgmental, angry, hell-casting being or a benign, insignificant crutch for weak-minded people, and not a powerful agent of love to be experienced in one's life. Why? Because a life with God is so much more than a life lived for yourself. This is why Emily and I give, which brings us back to Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus realized that the why of his life was leaving him empty. It wasn't any fun. Like Zacchaeus, I think a lot of people today are so busy trying to make a good life that they don't have time to reflect on what kind of life that they have built. They don't know why they do what they do, and that leads to a deep spiritual hunger. Zacchaeus went out on a limb and he met Jesus. Jesus gave meaning and purpose to his life. He gave him a why, and it changed his life. And so it can be for us. It's scary to go out on a limb and meet Jesus, but out on a limb is the only place that you'll find the fruit that makes life worth living. It's where you will discover your why. Out on a limb is where you will experience the grace and love of God in Jesus Christ. With Jesus, it always starts with why, and the why is always love. This is the good news we hear today. Amen.